Central bank digital currencies are a big concern, and for good reason. A lot of people are wondering and worrying about central bank digital currencies, and in this video, we're going to talk about the timeline. I think it's really important that we understand the CBDC, it's coming. That's very clear. But when? You came here for the truth, so let me unveil that for you. My name is David Quintieri, and I have been looking into this information deep down the rabbit hole for well over a decade. And I'm here to bring you the absolute truth. I spend hours a day doing research so that you don't have to. I'm simply bringing you the answers. This video is done as a request from my viewers. So this one's for you. We're going to talk about universal basic income and its connection to the central bank digital currency. Most people don't mirror these two, but I believe, based on what we've seen, that these are going to be heavily correlated. I did a video recently about central bank digital currencies, outlining everything from start to finish, and I'll be able to show you that at the end of this video. I'll link to it. But right now, what we need to understand, very basic, is that all countries, to one degree or another, are going towards a central bank digital currency. They all want it. They're either in a research phase, they're in some sort of beta trial, they've gone through it, they didn't like what happened, and they've sort of shuttered it and put it aside. It depends on which country. Ultimately, you can do a search online to see for your own country if they have begun, what stage they're at, but you know specifically that they're all doing this. At the same time, we've seen institutions such as the BIS, Bank for International Settlements, also known as the Bank of Central Banks, or the Central Bank of Central Banks, that have gotten multiple central banks around them and basically said, let's do this trial phase where we can create a simulated instance of transactions that are happening between these central banks, and us, the BIS, will sit in the middle of that. And so this becomes really dangerous because we don't know what the BIS does. We don't have any oversight or control over what the BIS says, does, and all of these things, but all the central banks are signing on to it. We didn't approve it, we didn't vote for that, but it's happening here and now. And so in this video, I just want to look at something that everybody has been talking about, and that is the central bank digital currency is coming tomorrow. The central bank digital currency is coming next week. Oh, there's this crisis. Oh, central bank currency, digital currency coming right after it. And I think it's not well understood how far the central bank, in particular the Federal Reserve, is into their program. They are still discussing it. The infrastructure is not there. And I know that a lot of YouTubers had used the opportunity of the Fed Now system that is in place today to essentially suggest that we are in a central bank digital currency right now. That is not a central bank digital currency. The Fed Now system is simply a better way to do their own thing that they're already doing. That's it. It makes things faster. It makes things easier on them. You, as the individual, you have no, insight into it. It has nothing to do with that. Fed Now, central bank digital currency, two completely different things. Now, you have seen Jerome Powell, you have seen others out there talk about it, that in effect, it leads into a central bank digital currency. The two are not linked. It has nothing to do with that. The system that we are already on is using the Fed Now. That's it. But a central bank digital currency is coming. And that leads me to the next point. I just want to make this clear. You got to understand that when somebody's giving you information, they want to give you what you want to hear. They don't want to give you the information that might say, well, that really wasn't it. People are looking for an answer, and I understand that. I totally get that. And that's why they're willing to simply give you what you want. You're going to like them more if you do that. But this is not a popularity contest for me, okay? I lost that a long time ago. I think it's important that we realize that the Federal Reserve has been in control for a very long time. We know their shareholders. We know how their policies work and who they really work for. I'm not saying they're good people. I'm not saying that what the institution does is so fantastic and they're here to save the day. Quite the contrary. What I am trying to tell you is that there are stages to this, and it's only going to get worse. That brings me to this. Central bank digital currencies. You can't simply implement a central bank digital currency or change the monetary system, just flip it overnight and not have it be completely disruptive. At the same time, you've got a lot of people that would simply say, why bother? Why am I going to use a system that I've got right over here? It's working just fine for me. I've got my paper bills. Why do I need that? There's going to be a lot of people, millions of people in the United States will say, no, it doesn't have an advantage. Because as it's been said publicly, and I do agree with this, the two systems will be in parallel. You're going to have the existing system and you're going to have the central bank digital currency system in parallel operating. And that's okay, that's fine, because all the payment processors will still allow it. It's going to be okay. But what's occurring is that there is this threat of cash. It's so dangerous. It's used for money laundering. It's something that only a criminal would use. And then during 2020, oh, the paper bills, they're dirty. We don't want to use those things. All the coins, those are dirty. We can only use plastic. At the same time, there are actual legitimate concerns, and that is stores, they're operating at nighttime. The guy is carrying thousands of dollars with him in an envelope. He has to go to the bank to make that deposit. These are cumbersome and they're very worrisome in a situation which a lot of cities are becoming more violent, a lot more crime. You have people breaking in, you got people wanting that cash. So if you're using all plastic, it makes a lot of sense because that transaction happens digitally. There's no money in the drawer. You don't have to break into my store, you understand? Okay, so these two can operate side by side. At the same time here, we have to have a crisis and we have to have a lot of people that are desperate and willing to accept whatever they can get. And that's what brings me to the universal basic income. Universal basic income, UBI, is essentially a paycheck for free. Here you go, here's some cash. We have a concern, we have whatever lockdowns, we have a crisis of some sort, here's some money. There was kind of that trial phase that occurred in Canada with CERB, which is basically, you're unemployed, here's $2,000. In the United States, they sent out some paychecks. They had all these additional, different payments for whatever reason, child care tax benefit that they increased, relief benefits, like there was like different things, plus the $1,400. They sent out a couple of checks to people. These things all added up, kind of like a trial phase to see what would happen there. And a lot of people were simply investing that money. They would do things with that money, and a lot of them didn't need it. Okay, but it was there to stimulate the economy. That's what they said. So the next level is essentially to bring people onto a universal basic income. And that's going to link to the central bank digital currency. And you will see how they do this because they can get everybody to accept it instantly. 99.9% of people are going to say, I'll sign up, $3,000 a month. Sure. Oh, I just got to go to this website, fill in all my information, fill in the forms, give my documentation, and now I just tap my phone, and that's like, let's say the EBT cards kind of, where JP Morgan, by the way, makes a lot of money on. This is something that I can do it, no problem. $3,000, I'll take it. Let me know. Would you take it? $1,000 for free. Just got to sign on to the CBD system. I don't know. Some might say no. But that's what's coming, and it has to be done with a crisis. We are in a circumstance, we got lockdowns, maybe it's, the next thing that they bring out, they got to lock everybody down again, jobs are shut down, economy shut down, there's some sort of economic crisis. Okay, we've got a problem, here is the solution. Now, if that happens in 2023, I do not see a central bank digital currency coming out. It's just not enough time. They are still in the talking phase of it, and even if they were further along and weren't admitting it, it's still, to get it out into the public, it would just take too long. It's impossible. So we know it's not going to come this time. maybe next year, maybe the year after. I don't know, but I really do believe that a crisis is required in order to implement something this this much of a shift. Like 1944 Bretton Woods, it took World War to shift everybody over in the entire world. So I think that that's kind of where we're going, and this is what we need to understand overall. Central bank digital currencies, FedNow system, universal basic income. You've got all of my opinions on these personal things based on everything that I've been studying here day in, day out. You let me know what you think. If you disagree, put it in the comments below. Let's talk about it. Let's discuss this. And right here up on the screen, central bank digital currencies, everything you've got to know, click it, and I'll see you there.